how to save literally hundreds of dollars if you have a clog in your drain that drains out your house, like the main drain at the base. I'm sure there's a word for it. I'm not a plumber. So I did some YouTube videos and it looks really simple to fix this problem. If I were to call somebody, the estimates are anywhere between $300 and $500. If I rent a machine, a little router machine like so, it was $57. I got this from Home Depot. So hundreds of dollars right off the bat. So I'm going to show you how to do it. So if this happens to you, which it's always it's not if, but when. So it will happen. You can save a lot of money this way. Okay. So I got one with a 75-foot cable. It's the shortest one they had for drains like this. And the functionality of it is super simple. Whichever one that you get, all of them seem to have the basic things. There's a on-off switch, forward, reverse, and there's also this little foot pedal here. Is it centered? That you put your foot on. So when it's either in forward or reverse, you hold it down like this, and when you let up, it stops. So it's not a tap on, tap off. It's just once it's on, you hold it down and then let up. That's probably, for safety reasons or something like that. So it also comes with some tools in a little pouch. I've already took the tools out. Basic tools, from my understanding. This one is a spearhead. It's the smallest one. You start with this one, sort of makes like a pilot hole to poke through. And then there's a cutter tool, and there's different cutter tools, but this is after the spearhead. You go in there with this. And then this is a retrieval tool if you're noticing that there's stuff in there, like, I don't know, tree roots, or maybe somebody flushed a diaper, I don't know. And then you can go in there with this and retrieve it and pull it out. And a little tool for tightening things. But here's the first problem that I ran into. I actually just got off of the phone with them. I couldn't get the stupid cable to come out, right? So I undid this little key here. I figured that out. But this wasn't sticking out at all like it is now. So I had to go in here and with some gloves, actually, and just work that so it started to come out a little. And now I can grip it enough to I can start to pull it out. Now the water actually came up and started flooding this area right here, and that's how I knew there was a problem. Also, anytime I ran water upstairs, which was my first indication, it made these weird drainage sounds, so I thought I'd come down here and check things out. Lo and behold, my main drain pipe was clogged, but not entirely, because obviously you can see it drain down. And I just, flushed the toilet just now to bring the water back up a little, so it's just below the top here, and if I flushed again or ran some more water, obviously this would flood. So when I do get the clog removed, I will see the water here go down, just as you will if you try this at home as well. So I'm pulling a few feet out of this. This is a self-feeding machine, and the guy at Home Depot did a great job at explaining to me how this thing works. And between that and the YouTube videos that I found, I think I should be able to figure this thing out. So here's the next part. This little tool right here. It's kind of like an Allen wrench. And you're watching me do this for the very first time. I did not rehearse this for you guys at all. So I'm unscrewing this little screw here. You can see this little hole right there that they just came out of. First tool I'm going to use is the spearhead cutter thingy. Line up the hole like so. And I'm going to take this little screw here, put it back in, and this Allen wrench / key to screw it back in. So that part's pretty simple. So far all of this has been easy except getting that stupid cable out. But I gave you some tips on how to do that. So no big deal. Okay, that's in there nice and tight. Well, let's try this thing out, see what happens. So when I go in here, since this is all self-feeding, I want to apply an even pressure, but not a lot of pressure. I want to let this thing do some of the work. Because if it gets to a spot, when I get to the clog, I don't want to force it through with this thing. Otherwise, it could kink this thing up. It could break the hose. I'm told if that happens, I'd have to, pay for it, obviously, and that is a couple $100, I think they said. So when it does get super clogged, just let it chew at it for a while, and maybe put this thing in reverse, and pull it back, and then put it back through, and maybe use the cutter tool at that point for the really tough clog. So let's try this out. This is my first time turning it on, forward. Got my little foot pedal here. See how I'm slowly feeding it with a little bit of pressure, slowly but surely. I'm guessing I'm maybe about, 10 feet in right now. Something like that. Maybe 11 feet now. And now I'm getting to a tough spot. So maybe I've reached the spot of the clog, I don't know. So I'm just going to let it chew on it for a while. I'm not going to force it, just a little bit of even pressure. I've maybe gone another inch. And then once I get through it a little bit, I'm going to go back in there with the cutter. I'm actually going to go in reverse right now, so I'm going to flip the switch on this machine to go reverse, and then put my foot back in the pedal. And I might poke through it a couple times, just sort of using my best judgment. And I'm going to go forward again, in the other direction. So when I get to the clog, I'll just go back and forward, reverse, a couple of times with this spear tool. And I think I just poked through it. It's going through a bit easier now. So what I'm going to do now, go back, reverse, pull this whole thing back out. So now it's in reverse. You just have to work it like that, really. This is my first time doing it. But you gotta feel for it. I mean, you just sort of feel what you're doing. And from there, it's really not too bad. So I'm gonna pull this whole thing out now, and I'm gonna switch the tool from the spearhead to the cutting tool. And like I showed you earlier, it's pretty easy to do that. Just use this little Allen wrench key, undo this little nut or bolt or whatever it is. Put my glove back on because this is basically sewage and I don't want to touch that. Alright, it's not loose enough yet. I never really thought I'd make a video like this. All my videos are about health, healing, happiness. A lot of them are about money and mindset. And this certainly, this is about money because you'll save hundreds of dollars doing it this way. It's just a little bit of time and a small amount of money. I mean, renting this machine was only $57. All the estimates I was reading about is anywhere between $300 and $500 to have somebody come in and do this. Skip that. And they threw in these gloves with it. So that's pretty cool. Okay, my cutter thing is on. Gotta put this screw back in. With the hundreds of dollars you save, you can put that towards whatever you want. It's a lot of money. It's noticeable. All right. Now, I got this in forward. Put my foot back on the foot pedal. And let's go back to work. Haha. So at this point, I was feeding the cutter tool up until we got to the point of the clog. And now I'm just going to let it chew away at it for a bit and not force it too much because I don't want to damage this thing. And just let it work its way through. It might take a few minutes. Actually, it seems to be going through pretty good now. Huh, cool. That didn't take too much. I'm told if I have tree roots in the way, I don't have tree roots to get into a pipe, but I don't know, what do I know, I'm not a plumber, that it would take much, much longer. And who knows, maybe there's another clog after this, I don't know. But so far, so good. So I'm at the end of reversing it, and we're at the end, and I got a chair, as you can see, because this is taking a while. And look at that, this looks like, it's quite the clog. It looks like a bunch of tree roots. So it's true what they say, I guess. Tree roots somehow get in there. I don't really know how. But there's so much of it here. I'm actually going to go back through this thing and just go through it again and make sure that it's cleaned out. The water level has gone down a little bit in that pipe, but not all the way. So there's probably still more of this in there. I might have to go through it 2 or 3 more times. I don't know. But that's basically it. I can't imagine I'll have to do anything else. It takes a little bit of time. Could take an hour or 2. I'm not sure. It saves a couple $100 or so. So I hope that helps you out. And my website is tombirkenmeyer.com. Just like it's spelled on social media, take out the space, tombirkenmeyer.com. Tons of videos about, well, money and health, healing, and happiness, and all sorts of other cool things that can help improve our lives. All right? Share this if you got some value and you know some people that might like this too. Go ahead and share it out there with the rest of the world. Bye for now.